practicing?
I've actually been playing a lot more Ana this last week, and
Nice.
I got this duo. I've been playing with a duo tank for a while. I picked him up when I was still in Plat too. We had a really good win streak on Monday. We won 8 games in a row, and I was 1 game away today from hitting diamond. I was very close, but we ended up playing 2 games and losing both of them, which was very sad to see today. But that one of those replay codes is actually from today that I put in the Google Doc from
Right.
last time.
Yeah. Sure, sure. So you want to focus on one of those games there?
Yeah, that first one, the 44 E3 DQ, that one was from today, and then that RB6F was from Monday, but the first one probably is better.
I see. I see. Okay, maybe let's just read through what you mentioned in the form as well. So far, you thinking about your positioning on all the supports, right? It's much more often. It's happening much more often. You're able to stick with your other teammates to avoid isolating yourself. Yeah. So that was the problem before, right? When we were playing
Right.
versus the dive, just kind of a little bit too isolated, especially as Nyari. You don't want to do it as much. Sure. Okay. You also, in terms of what you do well, use high ground quite a lot. You also have lowered my supports to Ana, Zen, and Moira. That is also better to, I think, because you don't have to run as many characters. And just at this
Yeah.
level, I think it's just gonna be easier for you to climb when you run 2, 3 supports, in my opinion. Okay.
Mhm.
And you have also been able to switch between those three when you feel something's not working. That is something we can go over as well potentially. How to adapt the hero swap.
Mhm.
That is something you wanted to go over anyway. Maybe we can start with
Yeah.
that if you like.
Sure, yeah, I mean, in general, I start out with Ana just because I've liked playing them, and I've been very successful, very high win rate, and, I generally stay Ana if my tank's doing very well, and I generally
Mm,
swap to Zenyatta if we're not getting enough picks, if I feel like, and then I'll swap to Moira if I feel like we're not getting as much value out of my util, or if I really am just struggling with dive and can't figure out how to, counter them successfully with the kit that I have on the other
mhm.
2.
I see. I see. Okay. And your rank at the moment, it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was around gold level, right?
Well, when the last time we did a session, it was, I think, Plat
I
3,
okay, I
and then it
forgot. Yeah.
dropped back down to
Mhm.
Plat 4, and then I climbed all the way back up to Plat 1, where I am right now.
Okay. So it's even it's really close to diamond even. Okay, that's good. That's
Mhm.
good. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
And
about 40% progress through Plat
right,
1, I believe, right
right.
now. I was
hmm
82. It was very sad today. Very sad. I was so close to
Mm.
getting diamond again.
Well, probably just after some matches, after a certain amount of practice, you're gonna be able to get that. It's always kind of
Mhm.
harder whenever you between the ranks. Just when you're trying to get into the high rank, it's usually higher. I mean, usually harder. It takes time.
Mhm.
That's all right though. That's okay. Well, and for what do you struggle with? Many times in game, you were struggling with focusing on everything if things get too intense. Oftentimes in my my DPS take a lot of damage and don't respect the other DPS. That happens. And in those moments when I see a lot
Mhm.
of low health characters on my team, I sometimes sacrifice good positioning in order to heal teammates. I see. Well, I would just comment on this. This is kind of usually, it's alright if you try to pass, they die, it still happens. It's not like we
Mhm.
have to save our teammates all the time. A lot of times, them dying, it can actually benefit the fight as well. It's not like a bad thing to die for you or your teammates if you recognize that you get really good cooldown trade, or you might also recognize that, well, I'm winning the fight because it's always fine. Yeah, there are even a lot of strategies around it, just especially when you play kind of high burst compositions, maybe something like dive compositions, when you can just dive each other, like try to trade the backlines with each other, and that is alright. Just you know I think not focusing on that in terms of, well, it's okay to say trying to save your teammate, but I think the first priority always should be how do I get kills and pressure down on the map,
Mhm.
and that is where you want to balance it out. Usually, see, yeah, if you do enough pressure and able to support your teammates, but in your case, well, actually in at any level, you always suggest try to see if there are options for you to be more proactive and do more pressure on the map. That is always beneficial. hmm And yeah, you can focus on just your teammate later. Okay, and about just when you struggle with focusing on everything if things get too intense, what do you mean by that actually? Is that you kind of try to work on too many concepts and then it's hard, or it's just maybe hard to keep an eye on everything like your teammates, for instance?
It can be sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
like when fights break out and it's no one's dead, but it's not going in our favor. Sometimes it's really hard because, especially when I'm playing Ana, she has a lot of really impactful utility, and the things that I have to keep in my mind. One, obviously, don't let my teammates die. Two, try and put pressure on the right points on the enemy team. Three, how can I get the most value out of my nade and when?
Mm,
Four, who do I save my sleep for? And if that's no one, who should I just be gunning it for?
mm,
Stuff like that. There's a lot of things. Obviously, like I said, I swapped to Anna
mhm,
sort of recently,
mhm,
and I think getting used to her is part of that struggle specifically.
mhm.
But yeah, like things can get a lot, and I think probably some of that will just come with more practice. But yeah.
Definitely practice helps, and there are also some other things you can do. Well, what do
Mhm.
you actually think? What you could be doing to potentially solve that problem? Yeah, what is that you could be doing?
It's very difficult to answer. Definitely playing more. I've been trying to review certain games more as well because
hmm
I know when we had first done a session
Yeah. hmm
before that, I filled out the form, the 3-minute form, and it was,
Yeah.
oh, what did it say? It asks something I can't remember. I've totally
Mm.
just blanked out what I was gonna say too. That's not very helpful. Oh yeah, I had said that I didn't watch my own replays, and the question was asking like, do you watch your own games?
Right.
I do more now, so I've been trying to do that more, and
mm.
I've been putting a lot of time into Overwatch in general. So I
hmm
think those two will probably iron out certain things, so I don't have to think about
hmm
those as much. I'll get more
Right.
experience. Like, okay, where's the value on the nade coming from, or like who do I need to save this sleep for? I think eventually I'll figure that out.
Mm. hmm hmm
Just
Yeah.
by playing more against more comps.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because you're right. A lot of it is just your playtime. I would also
Hmm.
suggest try to focus on one idea at a time whenever you're in a
Hmm.
game, because our working memory as humans is really limited. You cannot
Right.
focus on dozens of things at the same time. Yes, you always want to kind of keep in control your nade and the seep dart, all of that. Yes, you can try, but again, it's going to be really hard. It's just the same. Maybe I can give you an analogy. If you're learning to drive the car, you're not gonna be able to drive it instantly, right? You just need
Right.
to spend some time learning how to maybe turn your wheel, maybe how to just look around as well. Yeah, there are a lot of concepts you need to pay attention to, and it just your working memory is really busy with processing all the things, so it's okay to take it one step at a time, build the habit, so you're gonna be automatically doing the right thing. Yes, so to
Right.
speak, if I'm going in a game. I can just focus on the nade. I don't have to keep in control the other things as much. Yes, you might be doing not the best at also other concepts, maybe your positioning when you just put in effort towards the nade, but that's okay. Once you build the habit of throwing the nade properly, you're going to be kind of getting this autopilot mode, but this is going to be good autopilot where you're actually able to implement the nade and also the previous concepts which you learned successfully. It's going to be
Mhm.
fun for you to put all of that together, and that is where you can start learning something new, and then you can learn something new, and just always step by step, just like that. Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Don't try to pay attention to too many things. One thing at a time is the most effective, potentially. Is it?
Okay.
Is it sounds
That
good?
makes sense.
It makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense.
hmm
I think before we get into the replay, I understand working on one thing at a time. That makes plenty of sense, and then hammering that out to the point where it gets automatic. Um,
Yep.
I've tried. I mean, I've been watching different kinds of videos and seen different kinds of suggestions on it too. But sometimes it's really hard, and and honestly, sometimes very frustrating and can be tilting to practice these things in quick play. But I also don't want to sort of troll and do it in comp. I've tried finding the middle ground there and doing open queue, but open queue is just a mess in my experience, to be honest with you,
Right.
because there's so many different tanks, and I feel like you can't like I can practice positioning, yes, but like when the comps are different, when there's a monkey, a diva, and an Orisa, it's very difficult to think about positioning because they can pretty freely aggress you when there's so many tanks in the game. So I've sort of stopped doing open queue because of that. But and then I'll sort of loop back around to quick play. Quick play is very difficult to practice certain things without getting upset because everyone's just doing all kinds of things. Not only are the elos just so all over, there's people that just don't care. So it's hard to take it seriously in an unserious environment. I'm able to practice things in comp, yes, but it's hard to focus on them when I'm trying to like, sweat and secure the win because at the end of the day, winning is what part of what makes the game
Mm.
enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. 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 Well, there are multiple ideas. I'm just thinking, what we can start with. Well, the one is definitely you. If you want to get the most out of your practice, you need to practice in environment where it's like higher quality,
Right,
100%. So it just the problem with the quick play is it's there first. Well, a lot of times the enemy is not gonna punish you for your mistakes, so you're getting
right.
really almost no feedback on when you apply the concepts. Well, you do get feedback sometimes, but it's just not as effective. If I'm gonna be
And
comparing it,
sometimes negative.
yeah, it's sometimes negative as well, exactly. So you might be building confronting habits, right? So it's
Mhm,
just going to be some conflicting habits, and it's going to be really difficult for you to improve, right? And
mhm,
so I would definitely solution. There's only one solution. You actually need to practice in comp. There's no way it's going to be effective in quick play. Well, of course you can, so to speak. If you, there's no way you enjoy playing quick play, like really, really maybe hate playing comp. Well, sure, you can improve with the quick play too, but it's just gonna be much harder and also gonna take more time. Generally speaking, usually it's gonna be taking much more time because habits you learn, yeah, as I mentioned, there's a lot of conflict around that, and it's kind of the similar analogy. Yeah, I could be saying if I'm learning to drive the car, I could be just trying to sit in my chair and pretend like I'm turning the wheel, or something. I like look around. Yes, sure, I'm
right,
kind of pretending. Well, I may be learning the habits of doing something. Maybe I have this kind of simulator also. Well, this is even more helpful. But the thing is with the quick play is just it's not as effective environment, and for your working memory, it's gonna be for you as a human, it's gonna be harder to remember, put everything in
mhm,
the long-term memory. Yeah, sure, you paying attention to, like you said, winning. Okay, so this might be the problem in this case
it might
because
be.
you whenever you working on something, yeah, let's put it this way, you always need to get, yeah, let's put it this way, whenever you're practicing you need to get something positive out of your game session. So if I'm focusing on wins, I'm saying I get a win, then it's not always positive constant. That is something what's going to change sometimes because there are going to be games where you get throwers no matter what. There are also going to be
Yeah,
games where it's just, yeah, there's no way for you to win. I usually statistically you're gonna get 33% games where you lose no matter what, 33% games where you win no matter what, and the other 33 is where you make the difference statistically. Obviously it
mhm,
varies. If I'm top 100 player I can carry so much, so I get even better statistic in
mhm,
my plat lobby, but of course it's still kind of on average it's this. So my question is, what is that positive goal you can be focusing on? Yeah, how do you get positive outcome, no matter what? Because yeah, just focusing on wins, it's not something, not always positive. Yeah,
mhm,
one day you win a lot, you get motivated. Another day, you lose a lot, you frustrated, and then you lose even more, right? So,
Right.
what is that positive thing you can be working on and always get a helpful outcome? That's my question.
Yeah, I think especially this last week, I've been very hyped, right? I've been trying obviously to get better and working through you and working through other videos and
Hmm.
playing new characters and lowering my pool and all these things. I'm definitely trying very hard. I think what I've done this last week that was a mistake was I think I'm caring too much about my rank. I tried to push
Hmm.
for diamond pretty hard. Um and I think that kind of clouded me. I haven't been playing a lot of ranked. Like I'm playing a lot more quick play than I've been playing ranked. And I think part of that has been negative because one, like you said, it's very hard to get better in quick play. You can get mechanically better, right? You can get really good at aiming. There's a lot of people all over. You could do that for sure. Yeah, it's not the best, but it's definitely workable. But like you said, I think I just need to play more comp and focus on getting better because realistically, I mean, being plat 1 or diamond 5 doesn't really matter because my long-term goal is much higher than that.
Hmm.
I think I've
Hmm.
just been thinking too much in the short term, and I think it's been clouding
Hmm.
my ability to effectively
Hmm.
practice. I think it's just been holding me back a little bit.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, because the thing is, yeah, what is that? Yeah, maybe what is that mental block? What's preventing you from just playing comp as well? It might be something, right? It might be
I've just been worried to
right.
lose is really yeah, because I was so close to diamond.
I think you posted a comment on. I think you read the article on how to deal with anxiety.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
really liked it.
yeah, so there are a lot of solutions to your problem actually. So if you ever maybe find yourself just sort of tensed and just kind of you find well what if I'm gonna lose? Yeah, there are a lot of solutions in there. I think I really suggest
Yeah.
just as an additional try to maybe apply at least 1 2 concepts from there. Whatever you find more helpful, you can just implement it as a general habit. That's really nice. Mm, and then yeah, definitely let's do this. Work on competitive more, but then so the previous note, yeah, what is that positive you're gonna be getting out of practice in comp? Yeah, how do you? Yeah, what is that constant you can be working on, focusing on? Sorry,
I think passively, for one, playing in comp, I'll get punished for doing bad things. Where
and
in quick play, I might not, right? There's always that option because everyone's very chicken-headed in quick play. So I think playing more in comp for one, yes,
mhm,
I'll be able to practice in an environment where I'll get punished if I do something stupid, and it'll be easier to learn because sometimes pain is like the greatest driver for success.
mhm.
And I think that's what quick play has really just not been giving me.
Yeah, yeah. So what your goal is gonna be in comp? So instead of wins, what do we choose to focus on?
Self improvement.
Self-improvement sounds good. Well, it's a
Yeah,
little bit general, but
one
we
thing at a
can maybe
time.
break it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so try to break it down. Use our list. So I'm gonna be saying something like, I'm working on XYZ, where XYZ are our goals, potentially. Yeah. So
Hmm.
I'm just putting something in there, and that is something I can always get better at. Yeah, maybe if I'm using cover, that is something I always get better at. Yeah, I can always minimize my hitbox and maximize the enemy's hitbox. I'm getting better at it no matter what, even though I'm getting throwers, even though my teammates are leaving the match, stuff like that. So it's always just positive outcome. Okay.
Hmm.
Playing more competitive, that is a good one. I would keep an eye on this, just potentially understand that you're not always gonna play to actively practice. I think don't overwhelm yourself. You need to also
Right.
have some time where you have fun and yeah, just don't always actively practice. I would rather you do 1 2 hours of intense practice in comp, or maybe just
Hmm.
even 1 hour, instead of like 4 hours of just average performance, like where you really stress and you kind of focus on your gameplay as much. I really do
Yeah.
intense practice, 1 2 hours, maybe at the start at least, see how it works, and
Hmm.
then for the rest of time you can have fun. Maybe again get back into practice, but yeah, this is where we can maybe talk about this a little bit more. I'm gonna write it down. Yeah, once you do this comp practice, I'm just gonna write down effective practice. So let's just say increasing focus on comp and just amount of hours. active practice. Yeah, this is just some notes for us. I want to see how you do this later. Right.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yep, but all of this does make sense, or maybe any questions, anything else?
No, I think we've covered what we can before we
Mhm.
get into the replay.
Yeah, perfect, perfect, perfect. Yeah, I think we can get into the replay here. And yeah, are there any other comments you would like to make as well? Or that's it?
Not at the moment. I think I've got out what was on my mind before going into
No,
this.
yeah, perfect, perfect. No, this is always good. There's like always useful. Going of the mindset, that is the most helpful in my opinion. I really find that for the most players, it's not actually that they don't understand the concept, they can apply the concept. It's mostly about the mindset, it's just the effectiveness of the practice for the most
Yeah.
part, what kind of thoughts you have, and even some sort of feeling you're getting out of the game, to be honest. Okay, I'm just gonna screen share, and here we go. Okay. So we're gonna be doing the first three play first, or you wanna do the
Yeah.
second? First three play works. Okay.
The first one should be good. It's a 14-minute game, I
We
believe.
wanted to go over how to adapt your hero swaps as well. Okay. It, I'll just do it real quick. We can spend some 10-15 minutes on that. Does it sounds good?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So usually I do it this way, and I highly recommend it. It just gives you good direction, good understanding of what you need to do in general with your swaps. Of course, there are much more nuances later. We can discuss this later too. But for now, I would
Mhm.
just start with this. By the way, can you see my stream just fine?
Yeah. It's great.
Okay, perfect. And you're also Corbin, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah, yeah. Okay. So first thing for you to pay attention to whenever you swap your character is your composition. Okay,
Mhm.
with composition, why it's important to us because it gives you a certain direction. It's not like team composition is really important in competitive. It's it's not as important because people they do not exactly know what they're doing. A lot of times it's okay. Even at top of 100,
Mhm.
you cannot communicate perfectly. You don't need the communication as much. You need most of it is your performance. But why team composition for us is important is that we understand the main direction and where to put our attention. Okay, so you're gonna be able to do enough rushes. So with team compositions, there are three types. Usually, you can differentiate on three. The first one is
Mhm.
brawl. The second one is dive, and the third one is spam or poke. Yeah, just gonna name it poke here. Okay, are you familiar with all the three types?
Yes.
Okay, so if you think about the brawl composition, give me an example of that.
Oh, tanks, I would say Arissa's really good. She's strong front line. Junker Queen, I think she can fill
Yeah, yeah,
brawl
yeah, I
and
would agree.
dive.
Mhm.
Let's see. Let me pull up
Let's
a
let's
list
put
of
it
the
this way.
weakest characters.
What is the main trait of the brawl? Yeah, I always like to start with the range. Just understanding this is pretty simple. It's gonna be enough
Mhm.
for us probably. Understand the range. Okay, at what kind of range the brawl is really good.
I understand it as medium,
Mm, simplify it to like short to
medium
long.
to close.
Short to long. Yeah, like it's just medium is also okay, but it's just might get might give you a lot of confusion when you're in a game. I
Mhm.
think because mid range, I don't think it's that clear. Of course, you can specify, but
Right.
yeah, it's just easier to say. Overall, you're on a more shorter range note. You need to play more short range sidelines. Okay.
Right.
Mm, what about let's say poke now? Okay, what about poke
Poke,
here?
poke is long.
Yep,
Long
poke
range
is
for
long
sure. A
range,
lot of long range,
right?
typically.
Mm-hmm.
Shield
Yep,
bank if
exactly.
possible.
And dive is kind of interesting. The dive is more about mobility, so I'm just gonna write down
Mhm.
mobile. But in terms of range, I just can explain it this way: you go from long to short distance because of your mobility. You can be threatening from long distance indirectly because you can
Mhm.
close the gap within 1-2 seconds and get in the short range battle. Just fight somebody up close. Yep. Example: Winston gets really up close. Tracer gets really up close again. Can do it from the long distance. Stuff like that. Just mobility. Okay. And Why it's important for you to understand is because if you know what your team composition is doing, then you understand where to put your attention. Now, you're not always gonna have a clear one direction, but at least you again understand the main idea of your comp. Okay, if you look at
Mhm.
this, what your comp here is more about, this composition more about brawl,
Brawl. Yeah.
or okay. I just wanted to go over that. But yeah, I think you're right. Mainly brawl. Why is that the brawl?
Because Roadhog doesn't have any mobility.
Mhm,
The only one with mobility really is the Venture. They're the
mhm,
only one that can fulfill Dive, but they can also fulfill Brawl. Cass can
mhm.
fulfill they can't really fulfill Poke too bad because of their fall off. They're better to Brawl,
Let,
from
let,
my
let,
understanding.
yeah, yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, see, and you can kind of break it down the specifics, but I'll also advise you in the game and just identify, okay, composition. Is it more about short range battle, mobile battle, or long range battle? So that's it. So it's just here, a lot of people would say something like, "This is brawl poke hybrid," because and there
Mhm,
are also some elements of that because of the venture and maybe a little bit of mercy because she can fly and fly out a lot. But
mhm,
it's mostly brawl poke hybrid, but it's not that important to you. You don't need all the specifics in the comp. Even this is, I don't think it's that needed to you. Just say this is mainly brawl direction, and now you
mhm.
suddenly understanding what to enable more. So it's sort of speak, you understand that you need to enable brawl direction more. And now we're looking at your characters. Let me see. So you're not playing Brig as much. You play more as Plat Ana. Now, what kind of character suits the style of comp more? What's your opinion?
I would say Moira of the 3 is probably
That's
more
it.
suited to Brawl.
That's it. So this is
Yeah.
how you did. And
Yeah.
obviously, you can also get some value out of other characters, and it's fine. Yeah, you can, as I always mentioned, the performance, it matters the most, but you can sneak in additional amount of value because you know what you're strong at, what you combo strong at, and play
Mhm.
that kind of character. Mm, More, why not? I think kind of this is good enough, good enough, suitable, and this is the first part. Paying attention to your team composition. The second part, okay, let me actually do this. I'm just gonna remove this. Okay, let's do the this color again. The second part is the map, and with the
Mhm.
map, usually you want to pay attention to three things. I like to differentiate the maps on three categories. Again, this is not clear, yeah, like not straightforward categories, but still short range maps. Let's use different color here. Okay, long range maps and maps with a lot of high grounds, with a lot of verticality. Of course, there are some specifics to the maps as well, but for example, here, I look at this
Not
map.
a lot of high ground.
Yeah, exactly. I find, well, there of course there's some, right? On every map you can find even long sidelines, short
Mhm.
sidelines, some high guns, but you just understand kind of the main space, yeah, the main idea of the map, of what kind of spaces you have more around the objective, yeah. And I see here, okay, all of these corners, what it tells you is that short range, long range, or high ground. Yeah, all of the spaces around the point. You see this? All this
In general, it's pretty short range. I
very
mean,
short
there is a
range.
lot of cover.
Yeah.
The only reason I will say that I went Ana here is
Hmm.
because I did mention that Mike Johnson guy, the Hog, he was my duo. He's typically very good, and you'll see in the first 2 rounds here, he's very good at
Hmm.
grabbing picks with the hook. I've I was essentially planning to pocket him until I could figure out if something needs to change because it's been very effective. Obviously, my nade is really strong with him, especially if he gets a hook. I can toss a nade off a hook, and while he's taking
Mhm,
damage, right, we can get the anti heal on whoever he gets in there. Maybe we can secure
mhm,
the kill, and he still has that
mhm,
healing buff
mhm,
once the kill is secured and he can right click immediately.
mhm,
That's what I had in my head. It was sort of a pseudo
mhm,
comp in my head, trying
mhm,
to fulfill his personal pocket role, at least until I had more information. And then on this map, I did know that we were going into this. I just knew that there was that long straight down the middle. You see where we pour out of the top left corner of the screen here in the top right corner. Each team pours out. And then there's that pretty long straight. I was initially trying to work on poking before we got into the brawl. That was just my sort of immediate thoughts going into it. Although I do see
Mhm.
now there's so much potential for, short range brawling and diving.
Exactly. 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 So let's get back to our previous idea. So we want to pay attention to first your team composition. Usually, I think is the most important, and the
Hmm.
second thing you want to be paying attention to is usually your map, in my opinion. So maybe sometimes there is no clear direction with your team comp. Sometimes it's kind of 50-50. Maybe you have some
Right.
good brawl direction, some that direction. Well, understand what map gives you, what kind of advantage on the map you can get, and pick the hero accordingly. Let's say I have something like two brawl characters, something like maybe Reaper, May, but I also have Winston and uh, let's say Mercy, or let's say Lucio in my comp. Okay, but I play on Gibraltar map. Okay, Gibraltar map, there are a lot of high grounds. So I know that I can take advantage of that a little bit more and probably lean towards diving
Mhm.
conditioning, enabling all this mobility. So we go from one place to another, and I'm just using all this high ground to enable my play. Yeah, this is obviously enable your teammates as well, but this is how you think. Okay, so I'm just gonna write down in our notes. Okay, adapt character. Okay, you're gonna be thinking first. Yeah, so this is gonna be first team composition. It's brawl, dive, poke. And the second note is gonna be map. Map is more about short range, long range, long or high guns. Okay, that's the main thing. Does all of it make sense? Of
Yeah, it sure does.
Mhm,
My only question here, this is mildly off topic.
course.
I narrowed my pool down to three.
Mhm,
I'm only focusing on getting better at Anna and Zenyatta. Moira was more of a fallback, but
mm,
in this case, Lucio. My thought is that Lucio would be good for this initial, just because he can help a lot to to evacuate teammates out of
right.
bad situations with the speed boost. There's a lot of cover, a lot of short range corridors we can duck into, and a lot of wall riding to be done. Would that be a solid pick, even if I'm not like focusing on him? I do feel comfortable playing Lucio. Is my question. It's very long
hmm
winded.
hmm Yeah, Lucio would be good. But the long-term goal, you always want to pick the character from your hero pool. That's really important.
Okay.
So if I'm actively practicing Moira Zenyatta Ana, or even just Zenyatta Ana, then I pick based on those characters. And actually, in your case, let's say you're not practicing Moira as much, then Ana makes sense to me. Yeah, why you pick Ana on this map? Yeah, because this is pretty good, pretty good utility, and you can definitely find some opportunities even because there's a short range map with Dana as well. Just
Right.
Zenyatta to me, well, is more to me. Actually, can work too, but it's just that need a lot of short range spaces, and you kind of don't have a
Yeah.
clear answer if anybody gets on top of you. Where with Zana, you have the sleep dart to disable
Right.
somebody. So yeah, I would just think about it this way, right? But first,
Fair
it's
enough.
always your hero pool, and then I think about all of this. Yeah, it's not like there's straightforward. You need to play meta those characters, tier S characters. No, you need to focus on your pool you enjoy playing the most, your characters you enjoy playing the
Right.
most, because
Skills more important.
you get the highest motivation this way, right?
Yeah.
hmm Yep. So this is how I would do it. And about this note you mentioned, when you're trying to enable something on your team, a good direction, yes, especially if you have some sort of anybody you can rely on. Yeah, you pretty confident. For example, Mike Johnson, he can land good hooks, play around them, good. But what your first priority should be? Enable him or your play?
Well, it's tough. It's tough because I know enabling him, while yes, it's very obviously good and it's been very consistent, there's definitely stuff that I can do. It's not like I was just sitting there,
Mhm.
healing him and not doing damage. I definitely am focused on doing damage, especially if they have, let's say, an Echo or a
Exactly.
Pharah, because I'm
Exactly.
very, very capable of hitting them. That's
Exactly.
definitely on my mind. It's not that I'm just avoiding dealing damage.
No,
But also
this is good.
on another note, I do also do understand that his health pool is massive, and my
Yeah.
healing on any of my other teammates
Mhm,
is technically more percent effective in getting them back in the fight,
mhm,
and he can self heal
mhm.
as well.
I would just say this. This is good, okay, but that's as a general note. Let's put it this way: you usually, because you first of all trying to work on your concepts and trying to be all this proactive and experiment, you
Mhm.
need to pay attention to your play while also watching for opportunities to enable your other teammates. But you, whenever you practice all the things, enabling your own play should be your first priority, 100%. That's what I would say. Like, so it's not like we giving up on the hog. Yeah, I'm not working with him. No, I want to see opportunities. Yeah, what if I tell myself this way? Yeah, I just work on my own concept and also paying attention, some attention towards him. That's fine to me then. Yeah, let's. This is good practice then. Does it make sense?
Yes.
So most of your attention towards your play. Okay. Um. Yeah. Let's finally we get to the replay, but I think all of it is really important. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask those. For now, let's take a look. What do you do? Okay. So yeah, I already heard the thought process why you kind of maybe can definitely, especially if you have a doer, yeah, make sure you're able to help him out. Definitely focus on your play first. So this is what you do here. You're just trying to do some early pressure, early damage. That's fine. I just need a little bit of cover there, but that's okay. Mm-hmm. This one is interesting actually. So you kind of
I don't know why he's
switching.
spraying.
Right. Well, you switching to you started the pressure, but my question is, why do you don't keep up the pressure still? Why you, um, yeah,
I just noticed that they had already taken damage.
right. But why is that bothering you?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm very when I when I play support in any game, I'm very focused on enabling my team before I am myself, and that's just something that I need to
Yeah,
work on.
and we can
Um,
kind of see the pattern, right? So it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
like
absolutely.
because this is important to enable your team. This is important, but to be in the game, you can never. Let's put it this way: you can never, yeah, you can never out heal incoming damage. That's why you usually
Right.
want to set up your win condition, whatever you do, relying on the damage part and the pressure part. So my first
Hmm.
part is always what do I do here, and then obviously trying to support my team, yeah, as well, heal them
Hmm.
up. Okay. In this current case, though, I would say this. This is gonna be like this common. You stealing your Mercy's ult charge at this point of time. You know why?
Yeah,
Because your Mercy can't do much. She cannot do any damage towards this guys,
true.
right? So you
Yeah, I
you
didn't even think about it.
right. So this can be this perspective, but I even would say even without the Mercy, let's say you have a Lowry, I would still say this: you need to apply pressure, but then the question is, what exactly should trigger you to start healing your teammates, right?
If they
That.
were critical, yeah, they were not in any danger, and they're in
Mhm.
cover, and he's got mercy. Yeah, I just in the corner of my eye saw that he'd taken damage, and just immediately my
Mhm.
instincts sort of overrode, and
Mhm.
I started healing. It's a
Mhm.
bad habit.
I would say with this, okay? So when you do healing, HP is a good factor. Okay, so when to heal. So some triggers. I'm writing down. HP is a good trigger, but is it good enough though? Let's say this because let's say this Cassidy is half HP, but he's behind the corner. Well, usually I would say this: try to prioritize anybody who is being active first. Yes. So even if somebody's
Mhm,
behind the, let's say they're low HP, they're critical HP, but they're not active in the fight. I
mhm,
want to prioritize somebody active first. So let's say this guy's half HP, but I have the Rhine going in or your Hog going in.
mhm,
Yeah, I'm prioritizing them because they are under pressure, not this guy. Yeah,
mhm.
that's your attention.
That makes sense.
What should be on? Yeah, so active teammate. Anybody who is active, you need to keep an eye on that. Yeah, let's actually pay attention to that more. So how do you understand who is active? Yeah, let's keep going. Because now this guy's definitely not active, or maybe this Mercy, she's not active as well. This
Right.
is good damage. You see, like, this is what's more important to you potentially. You just, if they are going in, like, just like that, Mike Johnson, for example, yeah, they just maybe get a hook on somebody. This is what's going to be more important for you to enable. Because they're more active currently. Okay. This is the time again when you try to apply pressure. Because nothing's happening, nobody's active. So you don't need this even, I think. You need to sneak. try to find a moment where you can maybe open up better angle, I think, especially when you have an advantage in the fight. Usually
Yeah.
try to move up and see what are the opportunities. So I just get back when you got a pick. So this happens, but your position it's still posture in a way that we sort of even. Yeah, you kind of in this neutral
Mhm.
fight where you even, but it's not true, right? You get an advantage. So how do you utilize it? What your position is going to be looking like?
Well, I would definitely move up at least a little bit right next to sight on that front left, because then one, I
Mhm.
can see my team. I have cover, and if I need to, I can go capitalize on them running away if they do.
Mhm.
It'll also give me an easier chance of hitting an offensive nade.
Right, exactly. So it's at least probably I want to be moving up to, well, open up maybe this angle here, or maybe I go
Yeah.
here. Yeah, it's just your positioning should translate to what's happening in the fight. Yeah, definitely pay attention
Mhm.
to first enable my play with the damage. Yeah, it's just gonna be
Right.
simple way for us. I choose the angle where I can do damage. Okay, this is one where I can do damage plus heal my team, but damage should be the first priority. So because the enemies are going back, I need to do damage on them. I go here while also being enabled to heal all these guys there. Yeah, that's how we put it. And now it makes sense why you're here, because they're back to pushing up. They're actually gonna get a Raz off as well, because we kind of maybe didn't capitalize on all of this. Yeah, what if
Mhm.
you slipped out this Mercy right there? Imagine you have this angle.
Mhm.
Whoa.
Yeah. The
That's
Mercy was getting reses all game. I watched through this after I'd played it, and I was like, yeah, I need to be able to
exactly.
be in a position to capitalize off the fact that she's going to do that
Exactly. Yeah, this is also good thinking. Yeah,
most of it.
I'm thinking about their resources whenever they are being active. I can kind of disable them with my own. This is really good. Yeah, they
Mhm.
use cooldowns. I disable them with my own. hmm This is good pressure. This time, well, we kind of missed on the mercy. It's alright actually. This is like again. She's a little bit. I'm not sure what she was doing. She was flying
I don't
towards
know
the
where
cover.
she's going.
Yeah, that's a little
Yeah,
bit
because
weird.
she doesn't have anyone to fly to, right? Because my understanding of Mercy, she wants to, like, be really annoying in the air above the people she can fly to. I have no
Depends.
idea how
Depends. Yeah.
she even got there with
That's okay.
momentum,
That's okay.
because everyone's she's, like, fully LOS.
That's okay. That's okay. I don't think you can maybe do much. Well, you definitely can keep an eye on that sometimes, but the biggest thing there for sure out of this fight is opening up better angles to do
Mhm.
pressure. Watching the exact triggers who is active a little bit more instead of paying attention to the members which. Like, you don't want to steal your Mercy's ult charge right there. Yeah? For example, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, like
Well, I
you.
knew she had died, yeah, so this particular moment in time, I was just trying to make sure that no one got, because I knew they had a Sojourn, and Sojourn can one-shot headshot if you're not full HP on most of the little squishies,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah. So
I was just trying to top off until she got
yeah,
back.
it's just in general. I guess this is what I'm trying to say. Like I do
Mhm.
this, okay. When you do this, Nate, I don't think it makes sense to me. Like follow up the heal. I want to be following up on this. So this way,
Yeah,
my teammate they will have more chances of not getting headshot, because this is how you heal your team in a way. Yeah, like
right.
I'm forcing the Sojin to hide. Basically, this like should be your first priority. Kind of small attention there, and then I go here potentially. By the way, this hog is kind of acts in a way like a body shield, just but it's okay. It's
Mhm.
just in general. I guess your priority is seen. I done the play. Can I maybe do even more pressure? This guy's maybe you could be getting almost close to killing him there.
Mhm.
This is fine. Just would be positioning a little bit to the left, sharper angle. Again, opening up better sideline. But
Mm.
see, like this, here's the same thing. Again, our position to heal up my teammates makes sense. But am I also positioned in a way so I'm able to apply pressure, right? So at this point, the enemies they coming back. Yeah, they're gonna be pressing the point. So maybe definitely don't stay in the point as much. But where you gonna stay? What kind of position you should be setting up to at? Yep.
Knowing that they're coming back and knowing that they have a Doomfist, I think I would have backed up just a little bit,
Yeah.
just outside of sight in that first little left
hmm
corner.
Exactly.
Because one, I can still heal my teammates, and I can also poke them the moment they start rolling out.
Exactly. exactly. This is what I would think. Yeah. Again, first I'm enabling my own play to do the pressure
Mhm.
while enabling my team, not other way around here. Because here, who knows? If somebody gets 1 HP, I have perfect sight line, I can easily do damage. So these guys, they
Right.
have downtime. Again, I just can maybe get a kill on something. Yeah. By the way, really important. You have this kind of, yeah, let's maybe elaborate on this idea. Early pressure, yeah. Making sure you in a position to do damage and heal. If I'm here
Mhm.
at this position, I can think about something like early pressure in the poke phase. I usually say to a lot of people, I like to differentiate the fight on two phases. First is what I do before the fight is poke phase, when both teams are really far from each other, when
Yeah.
you cannot actively press the primary fire on each other, when you cannot actively exchange abilities. That is the
Mhm.
poke phase. And the brawl phase is the phase when most of you guys and the enemy team, you kind of on top of each other, you're actively exchanging abilities, pressing primary fire, like most of your and the enemy members, basically.
Mhm.
Okay. So see this point of time, if I'm gonna go back, okay, what is that phase we're in currently?
We're in
Based on,
poke.
yeah, we're in a poke. So what do you want to be doing in the poke? And is look to do one cooldown rotation ideally, because you're gonna have enough time to get it back for the brawl. So so to speak here,
Right.
I use my cooldowns, CDs, and then I do CDs here. Yeah. Some people say, maybe some streamers say, oh, you need to use your CDs, but a lot of people, you know what they end up doing? They kind of end up doing using CDs when it doesn't matter as much. A lot of people making a mistake
Yeah.
using CDs right before the brawl for no reason. Yeah. So
Right.
you need to be more precise. Make sure you use your CDs early, sure. Kind of have more frequent cooldown rotation, but do it this way. Cooldowns for poke phase, throw in your nade like you did here, but also look for the sleep
Mhm.
dart too. There's nothing to lose basically. If the
Mhm.
Doomfist is gonna push, you're gonna be fine because he's gonna be feeding. So you can just
Right.
potentially not only sleep dart him and get more damage done, but also there's a high chance you might be getting a kill on somebody. Imagine sleep hook combo, yeah, chain CC like in yeah, MMO, like League of Legends,
Mhm.
yeah, same thing here.
Mhm.
You can do that. You can do that in the poke phase even. Yeah, definitely. Mike Johnson would love it, I think.
We
you know.
actually it's funny you say that. We actually did have a moment today in one of our games where that happened. That very thing. There was a Zarya. He hooked her. The moment the hook pulled them in, I shot my sleep dart, and they were stuck, and they died in the whole
Mm.
sort of animation. It was very tough for them.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what you look for. Chain CC, um, and looking to enable. So I'm gonna say this, poke, and then poke phase. I do my cooldowns, and then I want to make sure I also do something in the brawl phase later.
Right.
Yep. Just quality of your pressure. Because this is now when the poke phase starts, you can definitely search for opportunities. I think it's kind of reasonable. This guy's pretty low, and the enemy's committing the ultimate. There's a surge in the ultimate. You trying to heal this up. That's okay. Of course, you need to prioritize usually the nade, offensive nade, but in this
Right.
current case, the cog is getting hard pressured, so why not?
I honestly, and when I went back and watched this,
Hmm.
I'm about to ult him. I think I should have ulted him there because
Yeah,
one, it's
yeah,
250 burst, the
that's what I
damage
think too.
reduction. It keeps him from
Hmm.
backing up, which means our team doesn't have to give up
Do
position.
not lose space. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely something to keep an eye on. Just kind of the general tempo of the fight. Well, there's again another concept. Is still the idea is they doing something. I want to do something as well. They using ultimate. I probably
Right.
want to use ultimate as well. But yeah, let's keep
Yeah.
going. Yeah, just now you kind of give up the space
Yeah. It
and
was
the
just
nano.
worse
Yeah,
timing. Yeah, yeah.
you know, I would say even this. It's not even good to maybe think about it this way. They do some pressure and I nano them. Again, I would be thinking about it in a more proactive way, and Mike Johnson can help you actually. Yeah, what your plan can be here if you want to do more proactive nano. What's your thoughts? What kind of communication you could be looking for, guys, at this point?
In general, team wide, just
Just
whose
you
ult
and
can I
him.
use this to?
You and
Oh,
him.
just between us?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because
Just ask him when he's low on his right click, because it has a right to regenerate, and when he's getting low. and I can
This is
call out,
this is
"Hey, you're
this is
getting
this
low,"
is
and I
again
can
you
give you a deflect.
allowing the enemy to do something. Well, this is okay, as I mentioned, like to heal up some damage. But your plan should be
Mhm.
like, what do we do to force them to use their ultimate, not the other way around, like waiting for them to do the pressure. That's what I guess my main
Mm.
take is. Is there a way for you to do that?
Yeah, I think, I don't know if I have it at now right now, but this is a good time for an offensive nade because
Hmm.
it looks like they're all funneling into a clustered spot.
Yeah.
If I do that, it might force the tree because the
hmm
tree does the over
hmm
health as
Good
well.
direction. Yeah.
Um,
Good direction.
and then in the moment that they burst down him, then I can use my ult in order to
Good direction,
overpower him.
perfect. Yeah, so see, like with more proactive plan first, really important.
Mhm.
You mess up the enemy plan when they going from A to B, doing their plan, sort of planting their tree in the point for whatever reason. Yeah, you need
Right.
to mess up their plan in between the rotation. That's perfect.
Mhm.
The location can be a little bit different. I think you need to let them in slightly because of your team is the rest. They're this position
Mm.
A, but still, yeah,
Right.
this is good direction, good thinking. Yeah, maybe okay, Mark Johnson, can we do the? Let's do the this nade combo on this choke. Yeah, I'm just gonna nade and
Mhm.
you're gonna push. I'm gonna nano you. Yeah, because he's pushing. Obviously, you wait for the better time when he is getting his HP low, and then you nano him. Yeah, but all of it is nice to communicate. And just specifically, I emphasize this because you guys play with together, but definitely generally speaking, it's not going to be your highest priority, like communication wise. You don't have to do it with your team all the time, but at least looking for more proactive ways of using your nano. Let's put it this way, yeah?
Mhm.
Instead of it being like letting them do something, then answering with the nano, I want to be thinking,
Right.
what is that play I do, or my team do, so I can enable it. This is still pretty decent nano, actually. And generally speaking, you do enough pressure, I think. You just need better quality position and polish the pressure in the poke phase, right?
Right.
Yeah, this is a little bit when we this
Just a lot of
position,
little things, yeah.
you need to do a little bit of scoping as well to keep an eye. If you ever in danger, if you ever in just this kind of short sideline where the enemies can get
Uh-huh.
closer to you, keeping an eye on that is important. Well, there's another idea as well. I can minimize my hitbox, isolate myself, but yeah, it's okay. I think it's just we're gonna keep the same idea going. Like I'm in a position when I'm doing pressure, I need to be able to contribute to my team and also apply the damage. But I also want to
Mhm.
have enough safety. With safety, you just need to be exposed to one angle at a time. And you can
Right.
simplify this this way. I think that is something we mentioned with Zenyatta in the previous lesson. Yeah, like I'm
I think
here.
so, yeah.
hmm Yeah, well, we I know we're only 2 minutes in here, but we got all over a lot of stuff like mindset, effective practice. So this is good. Maybe do you have any specific question about any timestamp here? First of all.
No, not really. I think in general, I do the same things, these same little things that we've talked about in round 1,
Mm-hmm.
over and over.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything specific in this replay that was bugging me.
Okay. Okay. Yep. Well, I would just do this then. Let's do proper summary so you can use
Mhm.
this at any point of time in your future games. And yeah, any final questions, we can go with that too. But yeah, what we got out of this so far? What are the ideas?
We definitely want to think about what our team is choosing and how we can help fill out the comp that we might be going for. And
Perfect.
we talked about thinking about how do the maps influence the strengths of the three characters that I've chosen to narrow my pool down into, right? Like we saw a lot of close range engagements were capable in that. We talked about the early poke phase and maximizing my ability to
Mhm,
pressure before needing to heal, and also not stealing healing that I one just didn't need to do in the first place from the Mercy, who's now being denied ult charge.
mhm,
Definitely not over focusing on healing. Another like even during the brawl phase, just maximizing my pressure and using our advantages to get into a position where I can set up for when they either one run away or two catch their mercy who's going for the res and sleeper before she gets it off. Stuff like that I think was the main bulk there.
mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah, something to add as well. Just keep an eye on. We touched it once, but it's still important. When I'm in the poke phase, I'm using my cooldowns. Make sure you get those back in the brawl phase. Yeah, it's really
Right.
important. Yeah. Um. So important. I'm just gonna phrase it this way. Important. Have your cooldowns for brawl phase when you do all of this. Sharper angles as well in terms of just when I'm dealing something when I applying pressure. I want to be looking for opening up better angles. Yeah, but kind of to you, it seems like you need to be finding more long sightlines. Yeah, try to try to find those while
Mhm.
being in a position where you can do damage and heal. It's just I'm gonna say like sharp angles, long sightline. Yeah, a little bit more. Like in this case, yeah, you've been here, for
Mhm.
example, but you're limiting yourself because you cannot do enough damage because there's a little bit shorter sightline. But what if I'm here? There's a slightly longer because I can see the stairs while seeing what's happening on those stairs here with my team.
Mhm.
Yep, that's how I would do it for now. And for later, let me see. What are the ideas? So we went over. There's just some ideas with the map control rate, the supply and pressure. Well, we also got adapting characters. Went over that with you. That's perfect. Mm, maybe keeping an eye on. Well, we definitely did on kept an eye on angles, but maybe talking about that a little bit more. Just kind of more advanced ideas. I think how do you maintain the angles a little bit longer? Because obviously our review was short, and then later, effective practice. If you ever gonna have those problems with when you and it's difficult for you to work on the concept, yeah, when your attention is going from one
Mhm.
place to another for some reason, yeah, like